Hello gamers and welcome to a short analysis of the new DLC that has been announced for Battle Brothers, one of the best games in the last decade, I think, by a small German developer team called Overhype Studios. And there have been several DLCs so far. There was the free Lindworm expansion, then the Beasts in Exploration expansion, and the Warriors of the North, introducing barbarians and fleshing out the North a little bit. Everything with new contracts and monsters, legendary locations and so on. And now on Friday the 17th of January they've announced their newest DLC called Blazing Deserts, which will bring us to the south of the land. And yeah, it'll expand the world as it says here, and it'll bring burning deserts and lush jungles, so two different terrain types for sure. And it's based on Arabian and Persian culture, medieval culture, and built atop the ruins of the ancient empire. And as you know, the undead, or the return of the undead, is one of the late game crises you can get. And there will be a new late game crisis, a new political system. Usually they are like the three noble houses that might also fight at the end as a late game crisis. New equipment, and also obviously new contracts, legendary locations and beasts. And they say it's going to be the biggest DLC for Battle Brothers so far. So what I think they did in the previous DLCs is they gave us quite a few quality of life features, also with patches and free patches obviously, and managed to fit all the DLC nicely into the existing game world without breaking game mechanics, for example. So we will get a realm of independent southern city-states with their own law, equipment and services, and an entirely new character backgrounds. So that's going to be interesting, even more character backgrounds and also independent city-states. So we will see how that plays out, if there are going to be rivalries or whatever. Then there will be a new late game crisis, and there will be a religious turmoil. So I don't know what's exactly going to happen, if there will be two fractions fighting against each other, or all the cities against each other. And then there will be a gallery of company feats that grant permanent boons with which to customize your company to your playstyle as you progress throughout your campaign. I think that's going to be interesting, because currently you can obviously adjust your company to your playstyle by customizing your brothers, your battle brothers, and this brings it to a sort of higher level. And even when you lose your brothers, certain characteristics of your playstyle can still be maintained, I guess. Or you get a bonus for certain weapon types or something like that, or terrain types, or maybe night fights, something like that, I don't know. But that's going to be interesting to see, and I think that will be quite interesting. Then there will be new opponents with own fighting styles, exotic beasts and desert raiders, possibly riding, I guess, on camels maybe, and also southern armies. This is also going to be interesting, because I think one of the strengths of Battle Brothers is that all the enemies fight very differently. So for example, when you form a spear wall, enemies usually form a shield wall before they move into your spear wall. But then you have the goblin riders, and they try to flank you. Then if you fight against raiders, and they have the range superiority, and then they will try not to attack you, but kind of finish you off from the distance. Also, they are very careful, whereas other types of enemies like let's say Nachtzehrers, or for example, well, the undead, they just kind of attack your lines without really trying to flank you a bit, obviously, but not as much as, for example, the goblin riders. So this is actually a promise I'm pretty sure that they are going to keep. The new environments, both on the world map and in tactical combat, possibly desert, jungle, and so on. Several new origins to pick for your company for a different campaign experience. This is very interesting. The company origins have been introduced in, I think it was the Warriors of the North DLC, So you, for example, you could play with a poacher background, then you get three poachers, or you could play with a lone wolf and you start with a knight, and you could start as a trading caravan with some caravan hands. And this does not only determine the brothers you start with and their equipment, your money, or the standing with other factions. It also gives you certain bonuses or disadvantages, for example, better prices or worse relationships and so on. So usually like 3 things that makes the origins very different on top of the different brothers you start with. Also new events, like when you start with the cultists, you need to sacrifice humans once in a while, and also there are certain events for that. Then there will be new banners, weapons, armors and helmets inspired by historic Arabian and Persian cultures of the medieval ages. That'll be interesting, obviously. Also it'll be interesting to see if everything takes place on the same map. So usually they allow 3 factions currently, but if we get the city-states, will the city-states be added in the south, presumably? Or will you reach them by boat? Or is it a entirely different map seed you need to create? We shall see. But my guess is that it'll be implemented in the standard map. There will be new legendary locations and rewards, new contracts and events. That's obviously going to be interesting and exciting. And during one campaign you sometimes see an event happen again, but there are so many different events that it's quite exciting. More contracts is always good, and the variety has increased quite a bit already since the release of the base game. Then there will be new crafting recipes for owners of the Beasts and Exploration DLC. So the crafting is, for example, you can make if you kill spiders and you get their spider webs or whatever that is, their silk, and then you can use it together with a net, and then have stronger nets, or you can craft certain other items. So that's going to be fun as well. And then there will be new music tracks, and the music so far is already quite outstanding by the Breakdown Epiphanies, and I think it won't be worse. It'll still be super good. All the music that's been added so far has been really nice, so I'm very much looking forward to that as well. You can also buy the digital soundtrack on Steam, but also online at other platforms. Yeah. And then there will also be countless smaller editions, and we will get some dev diaries as well, which is good. So I will try to cover that as well. And well, they aim to finish it at some point in the second quarter of this year, so maybe in spring or something, and then there will be a release date eventually and a final feature list. And also, if you don't want to buy the DLC right at once, then you also get a sizable free update that brings lots of stuff. Like one of my favorite updates so far was that you could, when you entered a battle, well, let's say with your archer, and then you had to swap your weapon because you were engaged in close combat, and you had to switch to your, let's say, dagger or short sword, and then you could activate in the options that after the battle everything would be reset. So that's quite a nice feature, and there will be lots of things, quality of life features, balancing changes, some minor content additions and so on. So this is going to be super exciting. I'm very much looking forward to following the dev diaries or the dev blogs, and also to play the game once it will be released. I will also be writing a new review on Gamers Global, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy all your fights and exciting campaigns in Battle Brothers. Until then, bye for now.